In this video, I'm going to be discussing the North Node in Cancer placement in the natal birth chart. So if you have this placement, welcome. And if you know someone who has this placement, then I'm sure that you will benefit greatly out of this and find a lot of value in it. And I hope that you enjoy because there's quite a bit to dig into. So first of all, I just want to give you an introduction to the South and North Node, even though I do have another video about it. You can check that out on my channel, and maybe I'll link it below or put a link above this video. Who knows? But the South Node and North Node are points of fate in astrology. The North Node is why you incarnated. It shows your destiny. It shows who you were meant to become in this lifetime. The lessons that you were meant to learn when it comes to you developing as a spiritual being. And so the North Node indicates, the goals that that your soul set in place to achieve in this lifetime, so who you were supposed to step into. And the North Node also serves as a remedy or healing to the South Node. So if you're caught in the South Node ways of being which pull you down, leave you feeling stuck, and you're not growing, and there is possibly a wound there, then the North Node in Cancer can be healing. It can be very fulfilling and enlightening for the person to lean into, as feeling things like peace and joy for that particular person. So the South Node indicates baggage that you brought into this life. It is your not toxic, but negative habit patterns that you go back to, even though your soul really, really wants you to lean into your North Node. That South Node is very strong, a very strong part of who you are that you brought into this life. And, the South Node, while there's a lot of positive things like that, we can use the higher vibration of the South Node. It can be very easy to stay there. And, the thing is, we're sort of swimming around in a fishbowl with the South Node in, whatever sign that it's in, and we're not, going, there's not a whole lot of distance to expand and move in new directions. And so, with the North Node, it can feel like there's this island out there that I want to reach, but when I step into the water, my feet get wet and it's very uncomfortable, and so we come back to shore. That's kind of how, it can feel, but when we're willing to tread through that water and take those steps to integrate that North Node, then we could be surprised at the results and the positive feelings that we're feeling in our life. So it is a balance. It isn't binary. And so that's really, really important to know. Now, with the South Node in Capricorn, I believe I knew someone who had this particular placement who is a Capricorn. And, especially I just want to speak to having a lot of South Node energy, or having a lot of planets in the same sign as the South Node. Maybe this is your first or second go-around of your South, of learning your North Node. Maybe in this lifetime, you were meant to stay further down into your South Node and heal that South Node and move towards the higher vibration of it. So, that's another thing too. But you know. So I'm going to get into this. So the South Node in Capricorn, there can be workaholism, as one of the shadow sides of Capricorn is getting so caught up in your goals, your accomplishments, what you want to achieve in the world, getting so focused on your work and career that you're working very, very hard, and it can be very easy to put yourself to the grindstone and put your mind to something and take those action steps to achieve that goal, because that is something that you are innately used to. So being focused on your work. And so, in a past lifetime, you could have been a leader or somebody in authority who was in charge, who sort of told people what to do, leader of an organization or, project like, maybe the building of the pyramids or the, Great Wall of China, those kind of things like that, where you had to sacrifice certain, um, emotions and feelings um, to put that hard work in to build up those structures. And so you come in with this innate ability to build solid, physical, long-term, sustainable structures for your life and your relationships. And so you come in with the South Node in Capricorn with a very strong sense of discipline. And maybe when you were young, because the South Node also indicates your earlier years, if the idea of past lives doesn't resonate. Maybe it indicates your earlier years when you were more self-sufficient and you raised yourself and you were had a challenging, difficult childhood where you had to work hard and make a living for yourself and all those kind of things and really raise yourself. So that's something also that comes in with this. And I also want to throw in here when it comes to leading other people, when it comes to being an authority over other people, giving the, managing people, sort of organizing them, this is what has to get done. There can be, especially in terms of yourself and also relationships, preferring logic to emotions. That, well, if the mother comes into the hospital, then is it going to make the daughter heal faster? Really, a type of way that is very, logical, very practical, but it can lack feeling, and it can also lack warmth, because, what can happen is maybe in relationships, it can be easy to see someone feeling, overjoyed or crying or feeling these intense, or heavy emotions. And, um, you know, it is easy for you probably to, question why they're feeling what they're feeling and probably judge them subconsciously for feeling what they're feeling. Saying, why are you, feeling this? How about you be productive, get something done, being responsible. Because there can be a sense, I do sort of feel like, that you may feel like emotions are unproductive, irresponsible, a waste of energy, impractical, or weak, that they're not strong, and so, that people are not strong when they are showing their emotions. And so the South Node in Capricorn is highly masculine, and the North Node in Cancer indicates leaning in a more feminine direction. So there can be a coldness, because Capricorn is a sort of, it can be at a low level one of the coldest zodiac signs at the low road, where it's all about, work, achievements, responsibilities, very business oriented, very corporate oriented, where it cannot prioritize the emotions instead of, the tires in the car, making money, getting the food prepared for the meal tonight, whatever needs to be done at work. So, there's a coldness where it's easy to then go back on focusing on your work, and not choosing to lean into your emotions because of how uncomfortable it is. So I think one of the challenges with the South Node in Capricorn is needing to build up emotional walls of suppressing whatever emotion that you are feeling and building up these walls where you instead have a sense of sober, stoic pride that you build up because of the need to put yourself out there, because of the need to be important, to be courageous in the way of being someone who is strong, who is in charge, the leader, the boss, the very mature, type of person, which is, in charge and is strong and, as the backbone of whatever organization or job or, whatever. And so, there's this, difficulty with, letting down those walls, that you build up when it comes to, the emotions. And I'm, smiling because the North Node in Cancer is exactly the healing that I needed when I went through a rough patch in August of 2019, which was when the North Node was in Cancer. And I found that when I connected with, family, and I just want to say generically, I, eventually just was going through these sort of invasive thoughts, where I was thinking about certain, how I was, walking, and I was thinking about my hands getting so caught up in certain physical things. And those thoughts were, bothering me, and they were very uncomfortable. So I felt very depressed. And then, that healing came from opening up about what I was feeling. So, in previous lifetimes, you may had to work very hard and be very resilient and cut off pleasure, cut off joy or those feelings in order to survive, where it was all about you putting the work in, sucking it up. You're very, familiar when it comes to sucking it up, just, doing the hard work, and, those kind of things. And so another challenge with the South Node in Capricorn is there can be a difficulty to be willing to commit to intimate relationships because of the emotional connection that it involves. That it may be easy just, with your business partnerships, your it may be easier to connect with business partnerships, business relationships, which are more based off of your responsibilities, logic, and all of those kind of things. So, when it comes to sharing that connection, there can be some insecurity around that, probably losing your strong sense of self that you perhaps built up, in previous lifetimes. So yeah. So, the talent for the South Node in Capricorn is, really being able to focus, commit, and stick to your goals and persist and, get the job done. Again, building the physical foundations in your relationships. But what about the emotional connection? Because there is this mature quality. Capricorn rule is there for sort of growing and maturing. It's so interesting because Capricorns are old when they're young, and they sort of relax and loosen up as they grow. But it is not immature to express emotion. So this could be maybe being focused on the work and taking one foot in front of another and doing the work. But what about slowing down? What about looking at the trees and spending some time to look at inner peace and just feeling and just being? That there is this need for, I want to say, self-worth when it comes to you defining who you are and your value only based off of the material, external achievements, as opposed to you as just a human being and you being, on this planet and all those kind of things, without what you're actually doing and what you're producing and what you're putting out into the world. So, what about just you being, feeling, your feelings, kind of things like that. So the North Node in Cancer placement is about being vulnerable, that it's okay to feel. It is okay to be vulnerable and lean into your feelings. And you know how to express those feelings in a responsible way, but leaning into those feelings, sharing those feelings, expressing them, and being willing to express them, where, it's okay to feel. And it can be very refreshing and soul cleansing. And it can feel very good to feel those feelings. Allowing yourself to cry, allowing yourself to feel sad or, happy, or whatever the feeling is. It's about not suppressing the emotions, but embracing the emotions, accepting them, being present with them as they are, riding those emotional waves. So tuning into your emotional body as opposed to getting caught in your, logical mind and all those kind of things like that. So, being vulnerable, feeling. This could be taking care of family, and spending time with other people, especially getting involved with family. It's very, very critical for the people with the North Node in Cancer to deepen their connection with their mother, father, siblings, extended family, to connect with their roots and ancestors, and all these kind of things, and deepen their family connections, understand their lineage and where they come from. And so connection with family, spending time at home, can be very healing for them. So this is about really not judging people for feeling, but sort of having conversations with them about, what they're feeling. Being willing to have those emotional conversations where you're sharing what you are feeling and really connecting with other people in strong, emotional ways, not superficial, logical, just, like this lifetime is not about viewing people as objects, only seeing people as what they are good for, only seeing people as what can they achieve, how are they productive, and also the titles that people have, the roles that people have, the statuses that people have, surrendering that separation, surrendering those judgments of others based on maybe them being beneath or less than you, or having less than you, or them not being as worthy because they have not put in the work and they've not worked as hard as you have, probably. So it is not just seeing people as shiny objects in the factory. It's not just people in business, people that you can work with and achieve goals with, but connecting in a very human way, leaning into your being human, the value of people being themselves and having the space to feel their feelings, and sharing that connection where you're tapping into the emotions of what they're feeling. There's connecting on a soul-like way to people, connecting with people from the heart space, acting from a sense of heart and nurturing, and I am giving, not because this is just logical and practical, but I genuinely care about you, and I want to help you, and I want to serve you, and I want to improve your life. I want the best for you. I want you to grow. I want you to be self-sufficient, be the best person that you want to be, and achieve what you want to achieve. So, giving and service to another in emotional ways is also something that is really, really important. And having those really nourishing conversations with the other people on emotional levels is very, very important. Because, this can be also tending to your emotional needs. Knowing what on an emotional level, on an instinctual level, what you want for your life and what you need in tending to that, as opposed to, oh, this is not, logical, and I shouldn't allow myself to have this, and I need to, this goal over here that I need to achieve is more important, or I just need to just, suck it up and get the work done over here. That's not what it is about. It is leaning into your body, because Cancer rules, the emotional body. It rules the breath specifically. So leaning into your body. How do you need to feed your body? How do you need to take care of your body, nourish your body? And so eating and enjoying the pleasure of food, taking a walk in nature, resting your mind, meditating. What does, attending to your body and your emotional needs, and really taking care of those needs in this lifetime, and taking some time out for yourself to take care of yourself, and also attending to your personal life. So attending to both of these things, which is, your family relationships, your relationships with other people, and taking care of yourself on an emotional level, as opposed to being so caught up in, oh, I have this obligation, I made this promise to this person, I have this goal that I need to accomplish for this job or this meeting or something, and there's no compromises with this. There is no exceptions with this. I have to put the work in and get this done. This lifetime is about prioritizing what you're feeling and what you need on an emotional level. So, strengthening your emotional intelligence, learning about your emotions. This can also be not only establishing a stable home base, but it can be coming home within yourself, of allowing yourself to come home within yourself, of this can be well, it can be about slowing down, feeling, as I said again, of finding a place inside of you where you can drop into, and being present. I think being present with what you're feeling is super important, and allowing yourself that time, finding inner peace within yourself is super important. So, what is your intuition telling you? Your gut instincts, your heart telling you? Because there is this feeling of it not being logical, of it not being practical. And so leaning into that is super important. Where maybe you don't have the proof intellectually, but it just feels like this is the direction to go in. This feels right. And it isn't about the destination of the achievements and the rewards that come with the work that you put in, but it is about the journey with yourself, and enjoying the moment and enjoying those experiences that you have along the way, and feeling those feelings that you have as you're going through that, and connecting with the people in your world. It is about making the most of that journey. Of when you're getting married to somebody, it isn't about, I'm going to put in all this work to prepare the wedding, but actually when the husband prepares a nice meal for you to sit down and enjoy it, put the work aside and spend time and continue building that relationship with the other person. So there is this tendency to have a goal and to commit to it, and to be single-mindedly focused on that goal, and forget the people in the world, forget what is actually right in front of you, of family, of what you're feeling. And so so that is very, very important, to break those negative habits of it just being about the work and workaholism. So trusting in other people, and being more compassionate with others. It is receiving the emotional energy. It is about feeling the emotional nurturing qualities that come from other people. It is about that. It's about making peace with your emotions. And it is about trusting others. Trusting in other people, and allowing them to give you emotional nurturing and connection. And you are in turn caring for them. So that is really the North Node in Cancer placement in the natal birth chart. I hope that you enjoyed.